Well, one thing that caught my eye, and I'm actually really excited about this. Have you ever seen Creep film, horror film?
So yes, I remember after I saw this note here, I remember seeing this Mark Duplass vehicle. I have seen, I guess there's one or two. I think I've
There's
only seen one.
there's two films, yeah.
Okay, so I've seen one.
The second one is probably not as good. I mean, one of the things in the article that I shared with you even is Mark Duplass saying he thought Creep 2 like kind of wasn't like we had to work really hard to make it as good as it was, but he seems a little dissatisfied with it himself. So I don't
Yeah.
think I'm talking out of school or whatever. Um, but if people haven't seen Creep, it's really a kind of low budget indie horror film. Um, got Mark Duplass, Patrick Brice, who directs and was also like the other main character. It's just kind of like a two-person story, basically, small in scale, and creepy for sure. Something that
Yeah.
definitely stuck with me, like kind of lodged in my mind, particularly how it ends and so on. I think Creep 2 is pretty good. I mean, it's kind of you get Mark Duplass again playing the same character, and then you have another character, entering the story. But anyway, there's been some discussion over the years since Creep 2 came out, which I want to say was, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6, 7 years ago or something like that. There's been some discussion about making Creep 3. And I guess part of it is Mark Duplass feeling like, I don't know if we really have the stuff for it or whatever, but apparently they've made a series of kind of short films. I mean, what will ultimately be episodes of a TV show that they're shopping around. It doesn't have a home as of yet, but the Creep tapes apparently exists with Mark Duplass and Patrick Brice involved directing. And they went and did another thing, right? They just went those Duplasses. They just went and just made another thing that they don't have distribution for yet.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Is that this is not the first Mark Duplass project that we've seen, I guess, hit the open market for lack of a better term, right? He's shopping around his various properties right now.
Yeah, we were talking about Penelope a couple weeks ago. I don't remember exactly when it was on the podcast. I want to say it was maybe 2 weeks ago. If people want to look up our discussion on Penelope, which Duplass Brothers Productions made as a series, and then got to some distribution at Netflix and so on. I feel relatively confident that the Creep tapes will find distribution. I mean, this is an established franchise. There's really a fan base here. Um, I'm pretty
You
excited
know,
for it.
horror is one of those things, and this is traditionally in a movie sense, but horror is one of those things that always has a decent return on investment. You can always find a place for it. You can always find an audience for it. You can always find people that want to see new versions and new stories and new things that have not been told before. So this had enough of a following that A, yes, I think it will find a place, and B, will I think draw a significant audience. So horror is one of those things that has a sort of built-in floor of an audience you can count on no matter what you put out.
I would think so. I'm really
Yeah.
curious about it because it's easy enough for me to imagine, or I understand what the premise is, right? That Mark Duplass's character has these tapes
Hmm.
of other victims, as it were, um, and that we would see some of them in a sort of shorter form. What I'm really curious about is, well, like, okay, what distinguishes one from another, and so on and so forth, and
Yeah.
um, kind of gets them excited about this as a series of episodes, as a TV series.
The
So,
first thing I thought of when I saw this was, there's the Creep Show series that has been brought
mhm.
back to life by Greg Nicotero. Do I have that right? From Walking Dead fame. I think I have that right. But there's a sort of Creep Show anthology where it just sort of short 2 or 3 stories within each episode. And so it's not exactly this, but there is the sense of, yes, these types of series can do well. Um, Especially when it's some kind of property that they can count on people have seen before.
Right, yeah. And so each episode you would imagine would be a new person entering into but again, I don't know. I'm in part trying to avoid massive spoilers for Creep if people haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But it's like how do you distinguish different iterations of what you could see being same story, different victim, you know. So I imagine they must have some ideas about that, certainly with Room 104 in the background. I don't know, it could go a lot of ways potentially in
Yeah.
terms of when I think about what they did with that show. So hopefully someone will pick this up. It exists. Hopefully we'll get to see it in the relatively near future. But yeah, I do feel confident that someone will. I just find myself wondering, will it be like Shudder, or does this have the juice to get HBO? You know?
Shutter sounds like a safe bet, but yeah, we'll have to see how far some of these is willing to go. But Shutter does seem like the safe bet on something like this.
Yeah, it seems likely.